start? What happened?
Good evening. We'll just repeat the last line we had read in the morning. Oh Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Arjun, bound by his promise, had gone to heaven and learnt properly from Indra the use of celestial weapons.
So we said that as we change the mechanical, can you hear? As we change the mechanical patterns, conscious and spontaneous patterns come in, and these are siddhis. So in a way, they are like celestial weapons, right? Something which has come from the higher.
Oh Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Bhim and the other sons of Kunti, accompanied by Vaishravan, had gone to the land that is inaccessible to humans.
So they had gone to the land which is inaccessible to humans. There are many areas, especially all over the world and especially in India, which are inaccessible to the human body. Say the source of the Ganga. So the source of the Ganga, you go to Gaumukh, but that is not the real source of the Ganga. So if you go to Gaumukh and visit it as a tourist, you see the glacier and but if you stay in Gaumukh and leave your physical body and go in your astral body or go in your dream body, then you can see the real source of the Ganga, the real secret of the Ganga. Similarly, there are many places on this earth where we go for sightseeing, but the real secret of those places is inaccessible to human form, right? So we have to leave the human form at a certain place and then go and access those places. So one of these places is the home of one of the gods called Kuber. And Kuber is the god of wealth. Kuber is the god of prosperity. And you cannot go to Kuber's abode in the physical form. Now, in the Mahabharat, there is a story that Draupadi saw a beautiful flower called the Brahma Kamal, right? So, Brahma Kamal is the Sahasrara chakra. And then Bhim went in search of that. Vaishravan is Kuber, right? Shrava, to flow. Shrava also means to hear. And from where wealth flows, from where prosperity flows. So that is a secret area, but it is inaccessible to human form. And so Bhim goes there and he fights with so many of the yakshas. And then he meets Kuber and Kuber gives him the flowers. What is very beautiful, that on the way as he is going there, climbing up the mountain, he meets Hanuman on the way, and there's a long story in the Mahabharat of the meeting between Bhima and Hanuman. So when Dhritarashtra, now you see all this Dhritarashtra is saying after the war is over, all his children have been killed in the war, right? He has lost the war and now he's lamenting in front of Sanjay that I realized at that time that we were not going to win. So one of the points which he's saying over here is that when I realized that Bhim had gone to the place of Vaishravan, which is inaccessible to human form, I knew that we were going to lose the war. I think I'm not very sure, but I think the one whose body is deformed. One whose body is deformed. He has one eye and things like that. It's a deformed body. No, I don't remember just now. I may have, but I'm getting old. Right? So, huh? No, I should have worked upon it. I'll try to do it by tomorrow. Yeah, please give him the mic.
What's the significance of Hanuman in this entire Mahabharat? And I mean earlier as well, I've been wanting to ask this question in general about Hanuman, but since you brought this up, so I thought just to ask.
So, Han means to kill. Mati, Hanumati, Hanumat. Mati means the intelligence to kill. The intelligence to kill negative emotions. So in all of us, the Hanuman is that intelligence which kills the negative emotions. Right? So when he goes to Kuber's garden, Kuber's abode, the abode of wealth, right? But he has to bypass Hanuman. Right? And there's a long conversation between him and Hanuman. And Hanuman is his half brother. Both of them are born out of the essence of Pavan. Pavan is the wind factor. But Pavan is also the Pavak Tattva, that which purifies. You get it?
Sir, can we say that Hanuman also represents energy? Because of the various forms he takes, his expansiveness, and even how he was a helper of Ram to win over Ravan and all that.
Yeah. So he takes different forms in different, situations. His form is relative to the situation. So one form will be to kill the asurs, the negative emotions. Right? One form will be to burn Sri Lanka. Right? One form will be to get the mountain of herbs. So he has, I think, 6 forms. And for those 6 forms, there are 6 mudras. So all that is the science of Hanuman. I'm just telling you, basic is that that inner intelligence which gets rid of negative emotions. Now, getting rid of negative emotions will also mean healing, because disease is caused by negative emotions. Can you get what I was saying? So that intelligence will take different forms at different times. Yeah. Hmm.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that my sons, spurred by Karna's advice, had gone on a cattle related expedition and been captured by the Gandharvas and then freed by Arjun.
It was not exactly a cattle related, right? Duryodhan had wanted to capture the, what do you call, uh, the daughter of the chief of the Gandharvas. And they caught Duryodhan and they were going to kill him. And Karna could not save Duryodhan, but Arjun came and saved Duryodhan. So he should have realized at that time that the war is useless. The war is useless, right?
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Dharma had appeared before Dharmaraja in the disguise of a yaksha and posed him questions that were correctly answered.
Right. So there's the story in the Mahabharata where the Pandavas go to a lake one by one and they all turned into stone. And then Yudhishthir goes and then he has a question and answer session with Yama, the god of death. And he answers all his questions correctly, Dharmaraj. Right? And then they are brought out of that stone thing. And we have to understand the, what do you call, the function of yam in our life. The function of yam in our life. Wherever there is change of direction, right? So at that moment, that force which creates change of direction is called as yama. So I'm moving in one direction from birth to death, but at a certain point there's a change in direction, and that direction is yama. Now we will see this from morning to evening in many of our activities, right? That we start to see a movie on TV and then we stop in between and go and do something else. So there's a change of direction. And whenever there's a change of direction, that factor which brings the change of direction is called as yama. Now, I don't want to go very deep into this, because within the movement in one direction, there are two retardations which Gurdjieff calls as gaps. And change of direction happens in those gaps. Right? But it is something which we must observe in our lives. Right? And in the sense that we make so many, what do you call, aims in our life. I want to do this, I want to do this. But if you look at our lives, there are so many unfinished lines of action in our life. Somebody may have started learning some musical instrument, given it up after 6 months, right? Somebody wanted to be an engineer, gave it up after 6 months. So in the big framework of our life, and in the small framework of one day, morning to evening, there are so many interruptions, and at that interruptions, Yam is there. He's called Dharmaraja. He shows you the pathway on this side of the wall and the pathway on this side of the wall. So he gives you an explanation of that change of direction. So this is something which we have to study in our selves, right? Gurdjieff calls it as the law of the pendulum. Something swings in one direction, and then there's a pause, and then it starts swinging in the other direction. And it is something which we have to observe within ourselves, right? Now, if you can observe and you go into this, then you'll learn many things about Yam, because Yam is not just the god of death which comes at the time of the death. He's present from morning to evening in all our activities. And he cannot be understood by my giving a talk to you. I can tell you that you have to observe your actions, you have to observe your inner reactions from morning to evening, and slowly you will get a sense at which point Yam was there and there was a change of direction. Can you understand? In the morning, I sit down to observe what we call write a few notes. So I sit down to write a few notes. But last night there was the cricket match, and I went to sleep early. I couldn't see the whole cricket match. So suddenly in the morning I realized we won the match. So then I sit down to write the notes and I say, let me see the highlights, right? So there's a change of direction. And this change of direction is Yama. I'm trying to give you examples which are real examples, right? Real examples, right? And if you can sense that factor which is changing direction, what is it within you that causes change of direction? What is the factor that stops movement in one direction and changes it in another direction? If you've understood that, you've mastered death. You've understood death. And this is a deep practice of deep self-observation. Now, try to understand it in a different way. That summer goes into winter and winter goes into summer. And this is the swing of life. This is the swing of life. Day comes into night and night comes into day. And this is the swing of life. Low tide moves into high tide and high tide moves into low tide. Again, it is the swing of life. So when you study nature, you suddenly see that something is moving in one direction, and at a certain point there is a change of direction, right? And at that point of change of direction, that is the, what you call the factor, the function of Yama. He makes you change direction. So summer may feel that it wants to continue forever, but Yam comes in and he changes the direction, and summer moves into winter. And winter may feel that it wants to continue forever, right? The sea may feel that it wants to eat up all the land, but the Yam comes in the form of the sand and stops the sea. Can you understand this? When you enter into a relationship, and in the relationship, For some time, some things are going good. They are going well in the relationship. And suddenly you feel now things are turning. Now this is the point where you have to be aware. Be aware. And things are turning from very good to whatever, right? So at that point there is Yama. He is bringing this turn, this change in events. Now it is not something outside of us. It is something within us. So what is happening in this movement in a relationship where for some time things were going good, and then you feel that now things are not the same as before? What has happened in the relationship? What has happened? Has that person changed? No, that person has not changed. We tell that person, you have changed, you're not the same person I got married to, but that person has not changed. This behavior which you're seeing was already there from the beginning, right? But something inside turned, and that original behavior went into the subconscious mind or unconscious mind, and something which was already lying there came out, right? And this turning factor is called Yama. Turning factor. It stops. Stop.
So
That
can we connect it in any way to the change in direction of the breath? 1, 2, 3.
Yes. This is actually very well explained in the Bible. Very well explained in the Bible. And summer said it wanted to continue forever, but winter came and summer had to stop. And the sea said, I will eat up all the land, but the what we call sands came in the way, and this thing. It's very poetically what you call said in the Bible. So this factor which changes direction is Yama, and the change of direction is due to the law of the pendulum. We were here. We don't see that now we are being pulled here, right? But this was already there when I was here. I was very happy over here. So I think nothing is going to stop my happiness. But this side is already pulling me. I don't realize it. It's invisible. Right? It's already pulling me. Right? If I realized it, I would see both sides together. And the minute I can see both sides together, I'm free of the game of life. Because the game of the life is the swing of the pendulum. Duality. In that moment, I'm free of duality. But this other side is always there. It is always there. And we don't see that, we don't realize that. And when our consciousness awakens to what you call encompass both the sides, and in that moment we come in the middle. And in the middle is the ladder of consciousness. We climb up and we are free of the law of the pendulum. Otherwise, our mind is filled with pendulums and pendulums. And we are swinging all the time. Swinging all the time. Right? You're very happy over here, but suddenly you see a big stone in the path, blocking your path. Happiness changed to irritation. The pendulum is swung. In that moment, you didn't realize where Yam came in, what changed, how things changed. Nothing is realized. It all goes beyond our consciousness, and we just get irritated. You see, and these small pendulums are swinging with us, in us all the time. All the time. You want to go for a, what do you call, holiday somewhere, and you're so happy, and then you go to the airport and there's this big line in the airport. Suddenly the happiness changes to irritation, right? So unless we are looking at ourselves inside, we cannot see these small swings which are going on from morning to evening. And in understanding those small swings, we understand the swing of life, because the big swing is from birth to death, and we can't see the other side of the swing We are blind to the other side of the swing. But if we understand the force which changes the swing, then we know beforehand when that force is going to come, right? And we are ready for the other side of the swing, right? So he says, "Oh Sanjay, when I heard that Dharma had appeared before Dharma Raja, that this, the God who changes direction, the God who changes direction, the God who stops. Yam means to stop, right? And the God which stops. When I heard that he had appeared before Dharmaraja, I knew that we are not going to win this war. The power of changing of direction, the power of rising from falling lies in what you call, it is within their side, it is not in our side. Can you shift this a little? One of my, what do you call, passions of study is the stock market. So I've been studying it for years now, say 40 years or more. So we see there is a swing in a certain direction. And then at a certain point, there is a change of direction. Change of direction. Right? Now, if you know that this is a part of the game, there is a swing and there is a change of direction and there is a swing in the opposite direction and again there's a change of direction and again there's a swing in the opposite direction, suddenly you are seeing everything in a different perspective. Different perspective. Right? Now, again, this is very deep, so I'll just touch on one or two points over here. Maybe it may help you somewhere. Now, supposing I'm swinging from here to here, and this is happiness, and this is sadness, or this is pleasure, and this is pain, right? So I'm moving towards pleasure. Now I'm here in this point, in that movement, right? And I'm moving higher and higher into pleasure. Higher and higher into pleasure. And I don't realize that as I'm moving up, this side is becoming more and more powerful, even though this side looks as if it's never going to end. It's never going to end. But the pull of this side every moment is becoming powerful. But where am I going? Now, from pleasure, I fall down a little. So I say, it's okay, you know, I'll go back. I'm at the same spot where I was moving towards pleasure. But now I'm at the same spot, but now I'm not moving towards pleasure. I'm moving towards pain. Am I coming across with this? Are you understanding this? Right? So, we have a saying in Hindi, samay samay ki baat hai. Samay. You're at the same spot, but from this spot you are going to go into pain, and you're at the same spot, right? And but from this you're going into pleasure. The time is the same, and still the time is not the same. And this is the beauty of when you understand this law of duality of life. That everything in life has an opposite. Nothing in life can exist without an opposite. Every thought, every feeling, what do you call, every movement, every hunger, anything that exists has to exist because of the opposite. Day and night are not one. They are one swing. I'm sorry, they are not two. They are one swing. They are not two. And this is, when you understand this, you've understood Dharma Raja. The Dharma. You've understood the scales of life. You see Dharma Raja with the scales. Right? You've understood the justice of life, that everything swings. Right? And that brings consciousness. That brings intelligence. How many of you have studied Shakespeare? Right? So in Julius Caesar, Mark Antony says, there is a tide in the affairs of man. There's a tide in the affairs of man. If taken on the flood, leads on to fortune. If you know you're now moving towards prosperity, taken at the flood, and at that moment consciousness, you know the other end is going to come. You be free of the swing. There is a tide in the affairs of man, which, if taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. But we think that the flood never stops, and then the opposite swing comes. The opposite swing comes and destroys everything. Right? That is Yama, the god of death. You need to understand death moment to moment, from morning to evening. You go for breakfast, you're hungry, you had your breakfast, you're satiated, there's a change, there's a what do you call, change in direction. Change in direction. And to feel it, to sense it, right? And slowly become conscious of it, right? Yeah.
What one can do, like
I can't hear you.
hello
Yeah.
check, what one can do when I know the swing, right? So I'm at here, and when swing goes back, so all the present moment and everything gone at that moment. At that time is very difficult to analyze that this will also go. When good thing is there, then it's okay. But when bad things come, so at that time it will be very difficult to observe that it will go again.
So it needs hard work. And one of the ways is to practice a dual form of thinking. Can you understand? A dual form of thinking. A dual, dual form of thinking. We have to change the way we think. We have a habit of thinking, habit of the intellectual center of thinking, and to think in a dual way. Right? So I get married to someone, and I see one side of that person, and that is why I get married to that person. But that person also has a opposite side. That person also, and when I see that one side, I visualize the other side. And I say, if this side comes, does it make any difference in my love? And I say, it's not going to make any difference. Right? Then I have risen above that track. Can you see? This is a track in the mind. It is a track in the brain. Can you see? In which I've been moving for thousands of years. And suddenly I see both the sides together. I say, she's very nice today. She makes a cup of tea. She's very, what you call, gentle. But tomorrow she may tell me, go to hell, make your own tea. Right? Or she may not be as gentle as she is. Or she may show some cunningness. Right? And I say, I visualize the other side. Okay, if she is this, everything has an opposite, so it has to be this. And suddenly seeing that, I say, for me it makes no difference in my love for her. Then suddenly I'm free of this. I have moved above duality into Advait. Can you understand? And in this I have to practice in everything in life, a dual form of thinking. Right? I'm making my program. In my program, I have taken for granted that all the trains will be on time, all the planes will be on time, right? And there'll be no problem with my hotel booking and all that. But I visualize the other, right? I'll give you a small secret over here. May help everyone. Whenever you are planning something, the law of the pendulum. Day before yesterday, I had ice cream. So Now the opposite of ice cream has come. You get it? It was already written at that time. But I was enjoying the ice cream. Right? Now, I'll just let me finish, then you ask your question. Supposing I am going on a trip somewhere and I see the other end of the pendulum. Or you fall in love with somebody. She's such a beautiful girl. I'm not just talking of beauty in what do you call Lakme beauty, but inner beauty. And you also visualize the other end of the pendulum. Now, I want to go on this trip to Kashmir. So I'm planning everything. And then I visualize the other point that this plane is late over here, I'm stranded over here, this is over here, etc. Then I'm putting on. There's always something higher. And if I tell the other end of the pendulum, okay, I surrender to you, I bow down to you, right? I accept you totally. You get it? Dukh mein sumiran jo kare to dukh kahe hoye. You understand? So I visualize that. I visualize the pain and I say, I accept it. I have no reaction to it. I have no complaining about it. I have no finding fault anywhere. I have no if only I had not done this and I had decided some other date or something. I accept that. And just I make an inner this thing to bow down to it. It won't come. It won't come. And this I'm telling you for every activity in life. Because every activity we start in life has an opposite. And don't think the opposite is not there. It is already there. Can you understand? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's not that Newton found this law. This law was there thousands of years before Newton. Right? So, I see the opposite and I say, I accept it. If I accept it, it can't touch me. Can you understand? If I accept it, then it is not that I'm free of it, but I'm untouched by it. There's a slight difference over here. Freedom is something very high. But there is a state of where I am untouched by it. Can you understand? And in that I bow down. In the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says that the obstacles which come to inner seeing of the soul, dukkha, dormanasya, I won't go into them, but the first one is dukkha. And then he gives the remedies. So the first remedy he gives against each other. They are in sequence. Dukkha, dormanasya, angameya jayatva, swas, prashvasa, like he said, breathing, vikshepa, right? Then he gives the remedies. And the first remedy he gives, maitri. Maitri towards what? Dukkha. Maitri towards, of course, the whole world in explaining the Yoga Sutra is, if somebody is in pain, be friendly with him. It has nothing to do with that. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. Can you understand? But I am visualizing the other end of the pendulum, and I realize that other end of the pendulum is going to bring me pain and suffering. And in reality, not in authentic, I say authentically, I accept it, you're my friend. Dukh sate maitri. Dukh ke sath maitri. Can you understand? I say, you're my friend. My friend. And in that, I bow down to it. I bow down to it. You're the Shakti of life, and this is a fact of life that everything must have an opposite, and I accept the opposite in that I'm free of the opposite. That opposite won't come to, what do you call it, cause any problem for you. I'm giving you a secret of living life every day. Every day. Right? Now you can ask what you want to ask.
It was
Why
not
have
a-
you come alone? Your wife has not come.
No, she's there. My
She has
friend
come?
is there.
Oh, she has come.
So there was no question.
You know, there's in a relationship, the first stage is called the Velcro stage. You know that Velcro, you can't, they're stuck together. So when y'all used to come, first was the Velcro stage. Now you're sitting apart. Right? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It was not a question, but you said that ice cream wala talk. So one should eat ice cream, or at that time he knows. So what one will do? Like, I know this one will come, so I should eat ice cream or not?
Yaha naha dhiyo prachodayat. Please increase my intelligence, not somebody else's intelligence. We say the Gayatri mantra.
Question no to khali emergency.
Hmm?
It was not a question, just
Yeah. But I was enjoying the ice cream so much I forgot to visualize the other end. Okay, we'll go ahead.
So, so this pendulum that you were mentioning,
Yeah.
there is this external pendulum which moves to, let's say, she making tea to not making tea, and almost linked to this external pendulum, there will be this internal pendulum of like and dislike. So what you're suggesting is basically the external pendulum might come and go, but we need to be free of this internal pendulum, which is currently fully coupled with the external pendulum.
It's called identification. Right? You can't be free of the external pendulum. Huh? Right? But you can be free of the internal pendulum. Internal pendulum. And this, it takes many years to realize that everything in life has an opposite. Everything in life has an opposite. And our whole aim is to move from opposites to beyond opposites. Not to oneness, Advait, not two-ness. It is Advait, not two-ness. Right? So you don't move to oneness, you move to not two-ness. Not two-ness. Yeah, please.
Yeah, in the morning you gave those examples about Napoleon and Hitler. So it's the same thing that's happening?
In what sense?
Like the swing, 3 years of success and then...
Yeah. Yeah, but now, if he had understood change of direction at that time, right, and not allowed his ego to come, then he would have understood Yama. And if you read some of these things, in the first 3 years, Hitler's eyeballs would go up when he would make a decision, and he would go into a kind of trance, and from there he would speak as if in a different voice and give the decision. And after 3 years, that went away. It went away. Right? So again, you can. But
basically everything in life reaches a peak and then it has to fall.
the higher they rise, the harder they fall. Huh? But within a large pendulum of life, there are smaller pendulums. And within the smaller pendulums, there are smaller pendulums. So nothing goes one way. Can you get it?
Yeah. Okay.
बोलो क्या करना है See, when he used to first come, he had no beard. They would be sitting together. Now he has a beard. They are sitting separate. दुख मुझको हो रहा है. Yeah.
So there is one question
Hmm.
I had. Suppose we are sitting to work on something. It could be, let's say, to write a note, for example. After a few minutes of concentration and writing it, we might come across some obstacle, and then at that time we will maybe get bored, lose interest a little bit, and then we might start scrolling. We'll start, let's say, talking or check the phone or do other things.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp or do other things.
That's called scrolling.
Facebook is called scrolling. Facebook, Instagram.
So
So
it's okay. Or it tastes like poison. वो जहर देता है और कहते हैं कि मरना पड़ेगा, और जब मरते हैं तो कहते हैं कि जीना पड़ेगा. वो जहर देते हैं और कहते हैं कि पीना पड़ेगा, जब पीते हैं तो कहते हैं कि मरना पड़ेगा, और जब मरते हैं तो कहते हैं कि जीना पड़ेगा. हाँ, we just came. Flow. Wealth flows. Money flows. Happiness flows. We just have to get out of the way. We try to catch it. And something which wants to flow cannot be caught. What was the question? I forgot.
So in that moment, when we are working on something and then we start scrolling or
Okay.
checking WhatsApp,
Yeah.
there are two parts here. So one part is working in a focused manner. Second part is getting bored in that working.
Getting what?
Getting boredom, or let's say we might realize that there is a certain challenge and we are not able to hold our attention, and then as a result of this we might maybe start scrolling on the phone. So in this particular swing, the yum that is there, is that the boredom that comes with working? I'm just trying to understand what is the yum in this particular swing. Work for some time, then maybe scroll the phone, then again work for some time, then again scroll the phone.
See, there was a change in direction. In the brain, you were moving on one track, now you're moving on another track. What happened in that change of direction? Now, if from the beginning you know where the change of direction can come from, a good businessman knows. He has that foresight. Okay, where can the change of direction come from? Right? So he already knows what to do at that moment of change of direction. Now, supposing I sit down to write a note. I sit down to write a note. Now I know that change of direction is going to come. So I say, where is it going to come from? So my first, it'll come from the instinctive center. After 5-10 minutes of writing, my instinctive center will make me yawn, right? As if I'm feeling sleepy. Right? So, because the instinctive center does not want, it thinks that writing a note is a waste of energy. Its only concern is to look after the body. Can you understand? So it'll make me yawn. So I'll say, I need a cup of tea. So before I sit down to write my note, I'll make a cup of tea and put it on a hot plate like this. I'll say, okay, taken care of you. You're finished. Now what can come? Now what can come? Right? So I'll say, yesterday India won the cricket match and I had gone to sleep. I missed the cricket match. So I want to see the highlights. So the highlights are at 4:30 in the morning. What is the time now? So I'll say it is 3:30. So I'll say, okay, from 3:30 to 4:30, you sit on your chair and you're not going to get up. At 4:30, we'll decide whether to see the highlights or not. So you have to, what do you call, anticipate where the change of direction is going to come from. Huh? Yeah. You visualize it. Where is it going to come from? You know you're going to feel sleepy because when you want to do any heavy work, you're going to feel sleepy. It is the law of the game. So make your cup of tea before you go to do the work. Get it? So try to this foresight. One of the reasons why India suffered so much that none of the leaders had foresight. They were all devoid of foresight. They did not realize where the change and obstacles were going to come from. Right? Of course, there were astrological reasons also. But apart from that, in 75 years of imprisonment, not a single leader with foresight who could see what was coming tomorrow. Right? So the idea is that whenever you sit down to do where is my change of direction going to come from? Where are the obstacles going to come from? And some businessmen, they have this in their blood, they know that they will tell you whether your business is going to work or fail. Get it?
How much does astrology play a role in this? और अगर सब लिखा है तो हम क्यों कर रहे हैं?
No, there's a wrong understanding of astrology. कि सब लिखा है. Right? क्या लिखा है, क्या कर सकते हैं और क्या नहीं कर सकते हैं. My body brain system लिखा है. Can you understand? You get what I'm trying to say? Right? You may feel that you want to look like Salman Khan, but लिख गया. You can't look like Salman Khan. Can you get it? So वो लिख गया. Right? But whether to add a little powder or not to add a little powder is in your hands. Okay, you understand? Right? So what is written and what can be done? There's a saying of Ramjodulai Bapu. सब कुछ नियोजित है, सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है, फिर भी उसका आयोजन करना पड़ता है. Right? But still you have to be all.
So it is like line of destiny can be changed. It's up to us.
The line
How
of
you-
destiny cannot be changed. I can rise to a new line of destiny.
Yeah, by being in the present and raising our level. The vertical line.
I fell in love. I fell in love. One line of destiny. Right? Now, somebody tells me after 6 months is your divorce. Okay? So, this is the line of destiny. Abhi, I say, what are the factors which can lead to divorce? Can I overcome them now? So, at that point of divorce, I rise to another destiny. The old destiny goes. This is called conscious effort. Consciousness is above astrology. Right?
Got it.
But at any time you have to be in some astrology. Even if you rise, there is still a line of destiny which you are following. You understand?
So it's like a map work of what is to come.
You have now moved from one influence to another influence, a higher influence. In this influence, there may have been more pain and suffering. Now in this higher influence, there is less pain and suffering. That does not mean you're totally free of pain and suffering. You understand what I'm trying to say? But you have moved from a lower influence to a higher influence. But you cannot live life without being in any influence. And that is the beauty of astrology. Can you understand? Supposing I see your horoscope. ये भी शक्य है, ये भी शक्य है, ये भी शक्य है. Right? And if you rise, then this could be possible. But something is always possible.
The accidents will change in the different lines that would come about.
And some things cannot change. Where Mr. Tavaria says, you can change 95%, but you cannot change that 5%. That you have to go through. That you have to go through. Whether it is Ram, whether it is Krishna, whether it is Raman Maharishi, and we were having this 2-day camp in Bandra, where he was with us morning to evening, and we were talking and discussing like we are talking and discussing. And he said that Raman rose from the lift, but Cancer came by the staircase to meet him. Cancer came by the staircase to meet him, and they met on the terrace. So he says 5% you have to go through. You have to go. But consciousness, if there is consciousness, you move from one line of destiny to another line of destiny. But astrology is always there. Is always there. You change the influence. You change the influence. Now I'll give you another example. I mean, this is a very general. Supposing I'm getting angry on her. What is that anger made of? What is that anger made of? It is made of magnetism from the planet Mars. What is the software which is allowing me to get angry upon her? Is the software of Mars. Astrology ho gaya? Huh? Right? Astrology. Now at this point, where I'm getting angry on her, I become aware. I become aware. I pause. So I'm looking at that form of anger. And that form of anger destroys. But what happens to the energy inside? The energy is in the form where I'm getting angry on her. It's not no ordinary energy. I may be shouting and screaming and doing all kinds of things. It's no ordinary energy. That energy which transforms in yoga, it is called as Kundalini. Mr. Tawariji calls it as resultant intensity. But just let us take it as astrology. Astrology. So the negative form of Mars, I get angry upon her. And the positive form of Mars, I imbibe fearlessness. It is just the transformation of that anger. Can you understand? Am I coming across in this? I don't know. Can you get what I'm saying? Say she has a very good car and I'm jealous of her car. Right? So jealousy is made of the negative part of Venus. So the software which allows me to experience jealousy comes from where? Venus. It is a part of Venus, but the negative part of Venus. Right? Now I observe that why should I be jealous? Right? Everybody comes with a different line of destiny. She can enjoy a new car. Maybe I can enjoy my ordinary Alto or something. Right? And I drop that jealousy. But what about the force in that jealousy? Because that jealousy was going to consume me in that force. Can you understand? I was going to get consumed in that force of jealousy. That force suddenly will transform. It may transform into a positive side of Venus. Something I love, something for beauty, something I appreciate, a higher painting or a higher form of art. You understand what I'm trying to say? So from jealousy, the transformation of that jealousy has turned into appreciation for the higher side of life. I hope I'm coming across in this, right? Okay? But it is still, what is it? Astrology. I have moved from one influence to another influence. I moved from a negative influence to a positive influence. But I still have to remain in some influence. I cannot be without an influence. So there is no place we can be without an influence. But we can, through consciousness, choose which influence we want to become a part of. Can you change this a little? My nose is blocking. Yeah.
Being able to pause, is that an influence of Saturn, or is that, what influence would that be? Let's say pausing or holding a certain reaction.
Come on, I've talked about this so many times. Pause, Dharana Shakti. It comes from Saturn. It comes from Saturn. It's the positive side of Saturn. Right? The negative side of Saturn, everybody is running away from. To discipline. And how to discipline? By sending obstacles. You get it? Huh? Huh? I don't know. I don't understand. Huh? Send suffering. Right? So that is Saturn. Now can you see, I tell you that you're now 6 months going through a period of Saturn. Just be careful. Certain obstacles are going to come. But you know from the beginning, you're ready for them. Can you get what I'm trying to say?
We saw, like, over here he's giving 100 reasons, right? And that's sort of our life also, that when an event occurs or we visualize, you said a good businessman visualizes, and we see an obstacle coming, and then we say we're going to jinx it. I mean, typically we say, we ignore it rather than treating it as a fact that I have to do something about it. It's a very seldom trap that we get into. We know there's a hurdle coming in front of us. We can see it, we visualize it. Just like Sanjay is able to visualize, he knew it all along, but he ignored it, hoping it will go away by itself.
No. Sanjay was the chariot.
Not Sanjay, I'm talking Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra.
Yes.
He must have felt it a little at that time, but he ignored it.
And that's
what he ignored it because of attachment to his
son.
So that attachment made him blind to what was.
So many times in
Even though he saw it.
absolutely. So many times in our daily lives,
Yeah.
we see things, right? Either I may see something, Chaitali may see something, my son may see something, and we say, okay, it's negative. So rather than taking that as a positive, that at least I was able to see it, let me make a conscious effort to
Find a way out.
exactly.
Find a way out. That
So-
is the Gayatri Mantra. Please awaken my intelligence.
Exactly. So that was sort of
That is why we say the Gayatri Mantra. Okay, I'm in this situation. Now please awaken my intelligence.
we mistaken it for saying don't jinx it because you said it something's going to happen bad, but it's not truly the case, right? We see something, now we have to bring conscious effort towards it to find a solution around it. And what you said in the morning, I liked. Arjun was about discipline, but it was about soft discipline. So not don't solve it now aggressiveness, but solve it with balance.
Why solve softness?
Yes.
No, why softness? I'm asking you.
Because otherwise the law of duality will come back again and it will.
Why softness? And here again, the positive side of Saturn will come in.
Through a conscious effort, right? It allows, when you take soft action or soft discipline.
See, let's look at it in a different way. There are problems in life, right? And there are solutions to those problems. Now, when the problem is there, right? Do we have to look for the solution, or the solution was there before the problem?
Solution was there before the problem.
Right. Now the problem is not the solution. The problem is the solution is lying somewhere, and my understanding is over here. How to allow the solution to filter into my understanding? What do I, like a farmer, what do you call, he gets rid of the obstacles in the path of water, then the water flows to the crop automatically. You understand? He just cleans the channel. Similarly, the solution is already lying in the higher mind. Now, how does the lower mind, that is our logical mind, our what do you call reasoning mind, right, allow the solution to flow from the higher mind? How does it get rid of the, what do you call, obstacles in the way? How does it clean the pathway? How does it clean the pathway? Tell me. Also, I'll learn something. Tell me. Vijay, how do you clean the pathway?
But by pausing. I mean,
The pause is the beginning.
okay. Right.
Pause is the beginning. Now we are looking for different ways
Yes.
to clean the pathway. And one way we have experienced many times in our lives. So I want you to recall that. Then we'll go to something else.
But what you said earlier is also true, right? That every big problem on the pendulum of life has into smaller things. So to clean the problem, each step of the way we have to practicing the duality of the situation, fix it and continue to move on. I mean,
No. When you have found a solution to a problem,
yes.
what happened? How did you come across that finding the solution to a problem? What was the inner mechanics which were going on? I would like to use the word chitta, but we'll use the word mind. Right? Okay. So what were the inner mechanics which were going on in the mind?
Memory.
Yeah, but memory of what? Memory of what? How did I come to the solution of this? You must have come to so many solutions in your life, right? How did you come to those solutions? Have you observed? What was the science in finding the solution? Supposing now I have a problem, right? So I'm looking for an answer to this problem. So I go to the library, I study, I don't find an answer. I go to somebody's lecture, I don't find an answer. I ask this person, I ask that person, and this, and then suddenly I've tried so many things. Can you understand? And I've not found a solution. And then at one point I give up. I said, and I don't want to find the solution. And then I'm just taking a walk and suddenly the solution comes. What happened? Now, come on, this has happened to everyone. So nobody can say it has not happened.
Is it intuitions?
Huh? You have to tire the monkey
In
first.
the mind, yeah.
Either you learn a way to calm the monkey and you hold the monkey on the side for some time, allowing the solution to come down, or you tire the monkey completely. You do all effort to find the solution, and at one point you made so much of effort, you say, I give up, and in that moment the solution will come. But the solution was already there. The solution was already there. There is no problem in life where the solution is not lying there. It is already lying there. Our effort is how to allow the solution to filter into the logical mind, to come on the screen of the computer, the logical mind. Come on, it's lying somewhere in the hard disk, or the hard disk, or the soft disk, or whatever, right? And how to, which key do we have to press for it to come onto the screen? Because we don't understand it unless it comes on the screen. Can you get this? And that has to do with your way of working with the mind. Of course, the normal thing would be to tire the mind out completely and then allow the problem, the solution will come. Right? But that is a long way. Can we rise above the mind and then just hold ourselves like an empty basket? Right? And then the solution comes. And then once you develop inner intuition, then there is no gap between the problem and the solution. They come immediately. Come immediately. Right?
So Sanjay is Divya Drishti. So it's again intuition, I believe. So is it the same thing what we spoke just now? We connected to ourselves, Sanjay's power of intuition, or Divya Drishti?
He was given Divya Drashti. He did not have Divya Drashti. Vyasji first offered it to Dhritarashtra. And then Dhritarashtra said, you give it to Sanjay. Now, you're taking me on a different track, altogether different track. What are the... Now, this is a different thing, but it does answer this question of ours, but goes much beyond that question, very much beyond that question. What are the 4 stages of sound in the Shastra? What are the 4 stages of sound? Para?
Paranad.
Paranad, Pashyantinad, Madhyamanad, and Vaikharinad. Vaikhari is of 2 forms. The inner Vaikhari which we chatter in the mind, and the outer Vaikhari where I'm talking to you. So this word which I'm talking to you, before it can become the word which I'm talking to you, it was in Madhyama, and before Madhyama it was in Pashyanti. Then Para we are not talking about. So it has passed through 3 stages: Pashyanti, Madhyama, Madhyama means the middling. The middling. And the Vaikhari where I talk to you. Now, in Vaikhari, what is there? What is there in Vaikhari? Language. So, I chatter in a language, I talk to you in a language. So, if I take out the Vaikhari, I take out the language, then where am I? Where am I? Then I'm at a form. I don't know if I'm coming across in this one. Right? Let us just have an outline of Mr. Tawaria's science first. Mr. Tavaria says there's an impulse which comes from outside. It meets a memory pattern and it forms a thought form, not a thought language. Can you understand now what I'm trying to say? It forms a thought form. That thought form is like a picture, but it is not a pure picture. It is a picture like a symbolic picture. Can you get what I'm trying to say? I'll try to explain to you. Supposing I see my dead body in a dream. Why is she on the phone all the time? Writing notes on the phone? No. What does that dead body, my dead body, I see my dead body in the dream, what does it signify? Of course, you will take the example of Abraham Lincoln. He saw his dead body in the dream and then he died within 6 days. He was shot within 6 days. That is one, this thing. But is that really the meaning of seeing my dead body in the dream? Or would it mean that something old is going to go and something new is going to happen? Now, so this is a symbolic thought form. Can you understand? So in dream, what I am seeing is a symbolic thought form. So Mr. Tavaria is saying that the impression, I mean the impulse comes from outside, it meets a memory pattern and it forms a symbolic thought form. That thought form comes to something called the registration area where it is decoded into language. We're clear on this point? Clear on this point. Language is what the Shastras call as Vaikhari. Thought form is the beginning of Madhyama. Madhyama is a long, what do you call, is a very big area. Very, very big area. Right? And from Madhyama, all the sounds will come in. So I have a sound of happiness. I have a, can you see? Sound of happiness. Right? Sound of pain. Can you get it? This, the Vaikhari is the same in both. But the picture is different in both. Am I coming across in this? Now we are going somewhere in a totally different direction. Yeah. Now, those sounds are a combination of sounds which are letters, not language, which are letters, right? The sound is created at the throat, But before the sound was created at the throat, like the sculpture, the sculptor hits the chisel and makes the sound at the throat. He makes the statue at the throat. Can you understand? It is done by the vocal cords and the mixing of air. But before that, the letter was already there. It never born, never dies. It is Shaswata. Can you get it? We call it as Anahat. It's Shaswat. The letter was there, it never dies. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And can you understand? The Word was God. The fourth Bible, John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God. The Word was God. So that letter, which, what do you call, came to the throat and formed the sound, that letter resides somewhere else. And that letter is Madhyama. That letter is Madhyama. It resides in the chakras. When I want to express something, it comes to the throat, and there the divine sculptor makes it into vocal language in words. You understand what I am saying. I understand what you're saying, whether I understand or not. Can you get what I'm trying to say? But the letter was lying there in the chakra. Now, what is the letter composed of? What is the letter composed of? It is composed of the three forces, tamas, rajas and sattva. It is a combination of the three forces. So, at the stage of Pashyanti, at the stage of seeing, because Pashyanti means to see. Mr. Tauria is writing, I'm sitting on that wall where I can see the sound and I can hear the light. Okay, when he's writing Purpose of Birth and Death, he's saying, I'm sitting on that wall where I can see the sound and I can hear the light. So he's seeing the play of the three forces as they come into Madhyama, into letters. From letters they come to the throat and they express themselves as Vaikhari language. He's seeing this play of the three forces. He's seeing the screen of God, where everything that is made out of three forces. Can you get what I'm trying to say? I'm going for a meeting, but you come and stop me on the way, right? And then I mumble and jumble after you go away, okay, he made me late and he's this, and you know, all that. What is Mr. Tawaria seeing? He's just seeing active force. Rajas came, I want to go for the meeting, and a passive force came and they danced together, and the passive force stopped the active force. There is no Gordon in this, there is no Rajan in that. Can you understand? There is just these two forces, and he's looking at the screen over there. And here I'm mumbling and jumbling that this person made me late. Can you get what I'm trying to say? So he's seeing those three forces moving into letters, making the different combinations of life. So those 51 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, before they became letters of the alphabet, they were the dance of three forces. Can you? And he's looking at that, how one made the letter how the letter A, E, U, I, O, you know, and it's just the dance of those three forces, and he's looking at that. And that is the stage of Pashyanti, where you just enjoy the dance of life. Somebody may be in sorrow, but it is still three forces. Somebody may be dying, but it is still three forces. Somebody is getting married, but it is still three forces. Can you understand? I mean, you're looking at what is the difference between marriage and death? Nothing. There's no difference. Right? There's just the celebration of the three forces. Death is also celebration. Marriage is also celebration. There's just the, what you call, dance of these three forces. Natraj is looking at Shiv dance. Vishnu is looking at, enjoying the dance of Shiva. Mr. Tauria is looking at the three forces. And he says, from this I'm writing this book called Purpose of Birth and Death. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And God said, let there be light. Right? So the Word The word was created by God by what do you call putting these three forces together. And that word represented God, the letter. And that word is called Shabda. Shabda. Shabda is supreme. Shabda is supreme. The Rig Veda starts with the same words as John's Bible. Same words as John's Bible, the Rig Veda, which is maybe the oldest book in the world. Maybe the oldest book in the world. Right? Prajapati evam idam hasti. First, idam was Prajapati, the creator. Tasya vaka dvitya hasti. Second thing was his word. Vak evam param brahma. But the word was the param brahma. But the word was God. Vak evam param brahma. Can you? But then the differences stop because some things the Bible will not accept. Tasya maithunam sambhavat. He had intercourse with his own word. So the Rig Veda says, then the Rig Veda goes in a different direction. He said he had sex with his own word. Sa maithunam sambhavat. Now the Bible will not accept that. Right? And all the creatures were created. And all the creatures were created. But till then, can you see the thing? So this word, the Shabda, from Pashyanti, it is a picture. But a picture of the ratio of three forces. That comes down into a letter, Akshar. That Akshar comes into the chakras. Those Akshars represent different shades of emotion. Happiness. Pain. Can you get it? Or sunset. Can you get it? So those letters, they express different feelings, different emotions. And then they come down through the nadis. They move down through the nadis and they come to the, throat. And at the throat, they are expressed as language. They're expressed as language. And we talk to each other. But the word was with God and the word was God. And that is why it's very important to respect the word. We never show disrespect to the word. We never use such language where we are disrespecting the word, because the word is God. Can you understand what I was trying to say? Huh? Right? So
how come there is a difference, so many different languages sounding different although meaning something the same?
Now, if you've heard so much, what would you say is the cause of the universe? What would you say is the cause of the universe?
To experience.
No, why? How was the universe created? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God, and God said, let there be light. How was the universe created? How was the universe created? Come on. Come on. Through the Word. Through the Word.
Sound?
Right. Through the Word. Shabda. Sound. But sound has two facets, Dhvani and Shabda. Right? The Shabda. Dhvani is lower than Shabda. No, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. Okay, I'll try to. You didn't study sound in school. Physics. You didn't study physics. Oh, you ran away from school. Right? Okay. The letter is the Shabda. The letter has been created by God, the word. But the word to express itself needs sound. The word is not sound. The word is sound energy. It is not sound. You say you are a soul. But to express yourself as a soul, you need a body-brain system. Similarly, the letter is the soul. But the letter needs a body-brain system of sound to express itself. Without sound, it cannot be expressed. It remains as the letter, the word. And the word was with God. It remains there. It is eternal. The word never... Sound is born and sound dies. Sound is born and sound died. Can you understand? The word is never born, never dies. Right? So, to express the word, with my vocal cords, I create a sound body. Can you see? The wind touching the vocal cords, I create a sound body. The letter gets entrapped in that sound body. The letter expresses itself. The sound dies. The letter does not die. It goes back to the chakra where it was staying. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So sound is the carrier for letter. Dhvani. That is why we have two words, Shabda and Dhvani. Right? So, you are able to read the letter. You cannot read the Dhvani. If somebody is talking from far away, you can hear he's saying something, but you can't, make out what words he is speaking. You get it? But you still hear the Dhvani. Right? So, the Dhvani is created and the Dhvani dies. The letter takes the body of the Dhvani, expresses itself and goes back. Right? So then we come to this thing that how was language created? I don't know. I hope you've been interested in all this. That is, don't bring Gordon next time. Right? So again, I come back to that question. How was the universe created? Through what? How? But tell me how. One word. Through mantra. Through mantra. Mantra is a combination of letter and Dhvani. It is a scientific combination of letter and Dhvani. You understand? Now, just try to get this. Here we have a creator and we have a blank screen. We have a blank screen. And this blank screen is Akash Tattva. Akash. The ether. I won't go very deep into this, otherwise all of you all will get very confused. Now, the creator, the painter, the artist, he wants to project on the screen. So, he projects on the screen through the use of mantra. And that mantra is the natural language, the first natural language. So if he says the word man, the man becomes a mantra and man appears on the screen. Man, the one who thinks, man, the thinking capacity. Can you understand? But that's not the end of the game. That's not the end of the game. Supposing he says, I want to create cow. So he put together the words go and cow came on the screen. Go. Why does he use the, letters go to project cow on the screen? Why does he have to use a certain combination of letters to project something on the screen of life? So slowly he projects everything on the screen of life. Akash Tattva.
Based on the quality of that thing which is created also, the sound.
Now, every human being, every cow, I'm not saying human being is a cow, but every cow, where are they moving? In the Akash Tattva. We'll go a little deeper into this. We have some more time. You know, in the old TVs, they used to have something called pixels. You know, you've heard of the word pixels? So, I see Gordon moving on the TV screen from here to here. Is Gordon really moving in the TV screen? No. Some pixels, they become dull over here and they lighten over here and they die here, and I see Gordon moving. You get it? Right? This Akash Tattva is composed of pixels. Right? And that pixel is called as a Tanmatra. The Shastras call it as Tanmatra. So the Tanmatra of Akash is sound. The word, Shabda. Can you get it? Let's forget all that. The atom of Akash, the pixel of Akash is sound. Now you and I are living in Akash. I see you moving towards. Are you really moving to me, or are the pixels only moving towards? Then this whole thing is a big dream. Can you understand? I'm just watching a TV show. Now, when you are moving in this Akash Tattva, these pixels are becoming dull, these pixels are becoming light, and the sensibility of movement is coming. You are creating a sound in the friction of Akash Tattva. And that sound was heard by the rishis. And they said that when this man is moving, what do we call this person? Man. First language, how was it formed? They heard the sound. And what was that sound? That was because the Tanmatra of Akash, you were produced due to that sound. The creator created you using that mantra. So they saw a cow, and the cow is moving in Akash Tattva, and with their yogic ear, not this ear, with their yogic ear, they heard the sound, go, and they said, we call this as guy, go. Right? Then, of course, it became cow, and it became this, etc. What I'm trying to say. So the first natural language was created by the rishis. They used their yogic ear to hear the sound of movement of everything that is manifest, right, in this Akash Tattva, and they realize that it is nothing but the Tanmatra of Akash, the what you call pixel of Akash, which is creating that sound, and that pixel had come from the creator. It is the mantra of the creator. It is his relationship to the Akash Tattva, and that is why everything was born out of mantra. Can you get it? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In this whole universe, there is nothing else but the Word. The Word was God. There is nothing else but mantra. Everything is mantra. And when you start using mantra, when you start scientifically understanding mantra, and repeating the mantra, you're copying the creator. You and the creator are becoming one. You're practicing exactly that which he did in the creating the universe. Creating the universe. Can you get it? Suddenly you have become the creator. And that is why mantra is so powerful. So powerful. And I'll go back to the Rig Veda because it is not there in the Bible. Saha Maithunam Sambhavat. He had what do you call intercourse with his own word. He had intercourse with his own word. Right? And all these creatures were created. When you're repeating the mantra, the two lips, they are male and female. And the mantra you're moving through your lips, you're moving. There is a saha maithunam. It is a sexual union between the word and you as the creator. Between the letter and you as the creator. It is the two lips, they are moving in a way that there is a sexual union. You're feeling that ultimate joy of orgasm in expressing that mantra. Can you get it? The ultimate joy of creation. You and the creator have become one in that. And that is why mantra is so powerful. So powerful. Right? So the first natural language, where there was no grammar, no rules, was just the sound which the rishis heard, and they wrote down that this thing has this sound. As it is floating in Akash, it is creating this sound. Its movement with Akash is giving out this sound. Its friction with Akash is giving out this sound. And this is the natural sound of this thing. And that was the first natural language. Then, of course, man improved upon it and created grammar and etc. But the first natural language was formed in that way. So mantra is all powerful. All powerful. You're exactly replicating what God did.
We would say that in multiple nations, there are multiple rishi-like people who could interpret it and created the words for it.
We won't say nations, different areas in those times. Different races and their area and whatever. There may not have been nations at that time. But they could hear the sound beyond the sound. The sound beyond the sounds. And they were able to put it down into a notation. That is how, what do you call, language was created. But language is the expression of God.
Is it an ongoing process? Is it still happening?
Yes.
If it was that time, it should be now too.
Because words speak. Words have a sensitivity. And that sensitivity leads you from Vaikhari into Madhyama. There is a sensitivity of the word, as if the word is speaking to you. Now I said, I'll have you take this Vaishrava, to listen to the universe. Okay, right? So what is wealth? Wealth is to listen to the universe. To listen to the, what do you call, music of the gods.
It's a kind of communication.
Can you get it, what I'm trying to say? So each word, sometimes when you're sitting and talking to people, that words give their own meaning. They give their own definition. They give their own, what do you call, they start playing with you. It's as if those three forces are, dancing within you and you're creating. And that is why when these days I'm reading Purpose of Death, Purpose of Birth and Death, 2 days in Gujarati and 1 day in English. But I'm enjoying it so much because what a dance he's going through. What a dance he's going through in writing. He's just looking there and he's writing, looking there and he's writing. Right? So all the in-between steps have gone away. He's looking at the three forces. They're creating something. Directly he's putting it into language. There's no Madhyama, there's no Sukshma Vaikhari, nothing. You know, just the beginning of Pashyanti and Vaikari. And that is why that book is so profound, so profound. And I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it.
Very, very powerful. Very
Very.
powerful.
So again, we come back there. I'm sitting on the wall where the light can be heard and the sound can be seen. There, sitting on that wall. चलो पूरा करते हैं.
It's really an honor to be part of all this.
I enjoy it, when you ask such questions. I really enjoy it. I mean, it takes me to that level as if I'm sensing that creator, working through me, as if I'm just a medium for his, expression to come down. Thank you. So we'll meet in the morning, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you.